You're listening to the RPM Podcast.
Listen to it with your ear holes.
And here we are again, episode 197 of the RPM Podcast. It is September 28th, 2021, at 8:01 p.m. We're exactly an hour and 1 minute late.
Yep, it's my fault.
But we're here. It's not really your fault, Josh. We were supposed to do this at 7, and I start logging in on my old-ass computer here at 7, and it just got loaded up. So it took me an hour to get ready myself. So it's kind of my fault we're running late here, too. So,
it's
my brother, Tim. I'm Scott Riggleman, your host of the RPM Podcast down here in Manchester, New Jersey. My brother, Tim Riggleman, America's Spotter. He's up in Farmdale, New Jersey. Tim, how are you?
I'm good. I'm all fired up. I'm more fired up than J.C. Duval with 2 laps to go in the factory stock race. I've been ready to go since 6:45. So
yeah, Tim was ready. He's the only one that can log on quick enough. Me and Josh struggle a little bit.
Actually,
also,
we do have. We haven't mentioned it in a while. And we haven't done anything extra in a while, which we really should. More of our victory lap stuff, but we do have that Patreon thing, and if you want to, get in on that, so we can get Scott a new laptop. Otherwise, it's going to come out of my pocket.
We were talking in the pre-show. Every piece of electronics I own is old. My phone, my phone can't even. I can't even get on Facebook on my phone anymore. It's getting so bad. My laptop is. It's got to be 15 years old because that's when I bought this house, and I think I got the laptop around the same time. I got a tablet I got to carry with me now so I can get on Facebook, and that takes forever to load up. Once race season's over, I got to stop buying race tires and buy some electronics here and get caught up on things.
They found a newer laptop in Darrell Waltrip's hauler than Scott.
Probably. My brother Tim's also been real happy today too because he just realized today when you go to Wawa now and you order a turkey bowl, they got cornbread now for an extra 99 cents now to go with the turkey bowls.
You know what's funny? I've never had one of those turkey bowls ever.
They're good. They really are good, Timmy. You like them. I tell you what, lately I don't like Wawa's food much. I don't like their food at all, but the turkey bowls I like. They're really good. And now they have cornbread with them, Tim, so you can even get a nice little piece of cornbread.
Wait. So did I miss it already? Did you mention the 7-Eleven?
Or the Quick Check, you mean?
Oh, yeah, was it Quick Check?
You try. Have a Quick Check turkey bowl. They're horrible. they tried to do it to compete with Wawa, and it just didn't work. All right, and we got Josh Matthews. We got Josh Matthews down in Waretown, New Jersey. He's the producer of the RPM Podcast. Josh, how are you?
Good. Now I'm thinking about Wawa because usually on my way into work I'll hit Wawa, get my coffee, which not that the coffee does anything for me, but I'll get like one of their breakfast sizzlies, like that. If you ever get the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, that biscuit is like the KFC biscuits, and it's very good. But it will also, get ready to.
You're ready for a nap after you eat that.
Well, there's that, but I was going to say you have to clean out your car afterwards because I'll eat it driving in and it just crumbles and falls apart. But
that's not good for a truck driver. That's good for a person that sits at a desk and has his breakfast.
Yeah.
See, Josh, you do like Wawa food. You're a big fan of Wawa. Their subs are okay, but I really like the turkey bowls.
I have like 2 go-tos. Like if I get a cheesesteak, it's kind of hard to screw up a cheesesteak, and then I'll usually get like a turkey with provolone, bacon, spicy mustard. It's simple enough, but it's good.
See, I can't eat much bread, so I got to stay away from the subs.
Yeah, that's the downside.
But there is a different route you can go. For a guy like me that can't eat bread,
sub in a tub.
Quesadillas. No, the sub in a tub, in a sub or whatever.
A tub in a tub is called a salad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's called a salad. And really, a sub's called a salad on a roll.
Yeah.
But
anyway, go ahead, Scott.
I do like their quesadillas. Yeah, I like their quesadillas. I can get the cheesesteak on the quesadilla type thing, and they have like a cheeseburger quesadilla that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Here I am, 400 pounds, and you guys are eating Wawa subs and stuff.
I don't eat it a lot, and if I buy one of those quesadillas, they cut it in 3 little pieces, and I'll have 1 piece in the morning, 1 piece at lunch, and 1 piece for dinner. Like, it'll take me all day.
Do they have ketchup packs in Wawa yet?
I tell you what, it's hit or miss. It's definitely hit or miss.
Yeah, if you get it when they put it
sometimes
out.
Sometimes you got to ask for them. You know they're running low, and you have to ask for them. They're kind of behind the counter.
Here's a question for you, Josh. If you're feeling a cheesesteak, guess what you're going to have for lunch? Will you literally pass sub shops to go to Wawa to get your cheesesteak? Or will you go to
if I've
Wawa,
never,
you have to get a pack of cigarettes or something?
No, hold up. That's a fair question, but it's nuanced because like I wouldn't pass Lunchbox on 9 here to go to Wawa because I like their stuff. But if it's a sub shop that I've never been to and I don't know if it's going to be hit or miss and I'm rushing, yeah, I'm going to go to Wawa because at least I know what I'm getting. Because I don't want to get like something that ends up being too greasy and then I gotta spend the rest of my workday in the porta potty.
So you know what you're getting when you walk in the door there. So yeah.
It's an easy go to. It's the same reason like I might enjoy my my neighbor's brewery and their craft beers and all, but a Coors Light is an easy go to because you know how it's going to affect you. You know how many you can have and stuff. It's
Plus,
safe.
I feel bad for like sub shops, like real true sub shops. It's hard for them to compete against Wawa price wise too.
The price and the speed. I think the speed is another because at Wawa you put it in and then you go do your other stuff, you pay or whatever. But the sub shop, you're sitting there.
Then you walk around, find a bag of chips, and pick out a candy bar or soda or something, and before you know it, your sub's ready. But it's just Wawa pays their overhead because they have so much other product to sell. You know, it's like a little supermarket plus the gas stations outside, so they can sell the subs a little bit cheaper.
And all the Wawas are getting solar now. Have you noticed that?
You know who has good subs too? Is ShopRite. ShopRite's got good subs too. If you ever pass the ShopRite, you just walk in the ShopRite. Even the pre-made ones are good. I had
actually a buffalo chicken sandwich from our ShopRite right here in Waretown, and they give you a little packet of the buffalo sauce, and I was like, this can't be better than Wendy's, and maybe it wasn't better, but it was pretty darn good.
All right, this is a racing podcast.
The best
start that way.
The best sauce on the market right now is the Chick-fil-A sauce. You ever had that? They got their own sauce.
No, I usually go for their I forget the name of it. It's
just asking for Chick-fil-A sauce.
Is that like Kentucky Fried Chicken? They had the FLG sauce. It stands for finger licking good.
I don't know. I never had that.
That was good. It was a good dipping sauce. All right, guys, this is a racing podcast, and we do have a sponsor. Believe it or not, we do have a sponsor.
It's not Chick-fil-A.
It's not yet, anyway. We might try for Chick-fil-A next. It's Nick and Tone's Gym over there in Bricktown. Nick had a rough night at the track Saturday night. We'll be talking about that a little bit later. But Nick Catone's Gym over in Bricktown, it's on 781 Brick Boulevard in Brick, New Jersey. Nick's an MMA fighter and trainer. You can sign up over there, do boxing, jiu-jitsu, cardio boxing.
It's not hard.
I've been pronouncing this wrong. I've been pronouncing it Muay Thai. That's a drink. Yeah. This is Muay Thai is the fighting. MMA and more. Like I said, he's over there on Brick Boulevard. The phone number is 732-458-0133. If you want to, join a jam. We were just talking before, pretty soon it's going to be getting dark, 4 or 5 o'clock, and it's going to be too late to go home and ride a bicycle for exercise or jog, stuff like that. He's got a beautiful facility over there, well lit. Go over there. You can work out all winter long over there. And Nick's a great guy. He's a great racer. I know him, and he had a rough night over there at Wall Stadium. But
don't spoil it, Scott.
No, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't park pit far away from Nick, so I kind of have a bird's eye view of what was going on over there. But yeah, if you want to join a gym, definitely see Nick, or even if you see him at the track Saturday night, say, hey, I want to do some boxing or whatever, and he'll sign you up, And he's a great guy, he's a great local guy, and his family's really involved in racing now. So, one hand washes the other. So, if a racer or a fan of racing wants to get involved in physical fitness, give Nick a call. All right, guys. So it was Wall Stadium. It's the second from the last points race night, and things are getting a little crazy over there because the points are getting tight and everything like that.
Well,
I was going
to say I didn't make it Saturday night, but I was there several days prior for what it's worth.
Okay, yeah.
You got to remember too, we didn't do last week, so we're a week behind on our coverage too. So.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
We're just going to start off with this week because we missed last week. I was actually away in Florida. That's when we were able to podcast. Last week I was on vacation down in the Florida Keys. But when I was on my way home from Florida, I got very bad news that our buddy at the racetrack, Bob Menchener, passed away. Bob has been an employee over there for over 50 years. He's done a little bit of everything over there. His track crew, pit crew member.
The guy that changes the letters on the sign.
Yeah, general maintenance, I guess you would call it, right, Josh? Or property manager almost, where he would do all the weed whack and pick up garbage.
Yeah, he did practically everything there. I mean, anything that Brian Hammer doesn't do, Menchener was doing.
Right. He would make sure all the garbage cans were lined up in the pits and everything was picked up in the pits and in the grandstands. And he would even, because, a lot of those track trucks, of course, they don't have plates and insurance on them because they never leave the property. So you can't drive them down the street to put gas in them. So he would actually go fill up gas jugs and fill all the tow trucks up and all the track trucks and stuff like that. Just basically, he was one of those guys. If there was a fire, he put it out. Whatever needed to be done over there, he'd do it. He had all the keys to all the locks to open the gates, and there's a lot more to running a racetrack than just the race itself. I mean, there's so much that goes on during the week, and Bob was there every day. I used to see him out by the mailbox getting the mail and bringing the mail up to the office and stuff like that. Like all those little things he would do, so this way Emily and Diane didn't have to do, and they can focus on the more important stuff. He's going to be missed over there. Not only what he does presently at the track, he just his knowledge of the track itself, the history of it. He's been talking to me all year. He wanted to come on the podcast this winter when racing slowed down, just to talk about everything he knew about the racetrack, and and what has changed over the years and stuff like that since he's been working there. Like for example, just point out something he knows that a lot of people don't know. Like when you pull into the parking lot from the Hurley Pond Road exit and you make the left going towards the office, on the right-hand side where everybody parks their cars up along the fence, there's that big concrete pad. That used to be a weigh station for like tractor trailers and stuff like that, a big scale. And that place, he said it was actually a motor vehicle inspection station for the state of New Jersey. The Nichols, when they opened up, they would let them use it during the week to inspect cars. So that's why all that stuff was over there. And there used to be like a little, scale house and everything like that over there. And they used to, weigh like the tractor trailers and stuff. This way they knew what to register them at and stuff like that back then. So that was always a good little tidbit he knew. He's just going to be missed. I mean, then later on in his career over there, he did the Reverend Bob thing where he would lead us with prayer at the driver's meeting, and he would do it down on the track and everything like that. He was part of Racing with Jesus, and you always made your donation to him, and then he give you a sticker for your car and all that stuff like that. He even started, when he retired from his regular job, he even started traveling up to Evergreen every Sunday too. So they're going to miss him up there too. He started going up there. He was the Reverend up there. He would do the same stuff up there as he would at Wall Stadium. Not cutting the grass. He would just do the Reverend stuff, do the prayer and all that stuff.
But he knew so many, people, not just the drivers, but the teams and owners. And I mean, like whenever someone was ill or had passed, I mean, he's like, he would mention it at his, weekly thing at the track. I mean, the knowledge that he had was absolutely incredible. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep or whatever. I know they're going to have a memorial service at the track on October 8th. I forget the exact hours. If we come across that, I'll share it. But
so what did you go to? That was this a candlelight thing?
Yeah,
Josh?
just a little candlelight vigil. The same thing they did for Cliff when he passed.
Okay, right outside the gate there.
Well, they did open the gates. So I was standing, by where the programs are usually sold is about where I was. They had they had Bob's little golf cart out there with some flowers in the back, and
they had that at the track Saturday too, parked over by the pit shack where we had the drivers meeting. You know, so it was kind of sad seeing that. You know, Justin Gumley just wrapped the whole golf cart for him and made it look real cool in the purple and yellow, and had Racing with Jesus all over it and everything. JG Graphics, Justin Gumley did that for Bob and for the Racing with Jesus Ministries. Bob did get to use it for a few weeks before he passed away, but unfortunately won't.
I know that they were they asked if anybody had stories and stuff of him. They're welcome to share those during the memorial service. And I'm not sure what I really have to contribute, but I do want to say while I have this opportunity that while I'm personally not religious, when I got my factory stock from Chris Felber, on the dash it had the Racing with Jesus sticker with the driver's prayer on it.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, oh God, this thing, because it's not for me. But then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take it off because I don't want to piss off Bob Menchener because he always.
I have a couple of those stickers. I got them in my cars, and I think I have one on my shelf out there for next week's episode. Remind me, Josh. I'll bring it in the house and I'll read that prayer. What that sticker says.
Oh yeah, no, please do.
Yeah.
Because my thing was like, even though I'm sure we had a difference of opinion there, it was always so sweet and kind that he would go and shake every driver's hand before they went.
And he was quick with those stickers too. If you showed up and he realized that you repainted your car, or you showed up with a new car, he was right over there with that sticker. New car, you need some new stickers. You'd have to give him a $10 or $20 donation to the ministry.
Actually, that reminds me. He went to give some to Mike Tash, who was short-lived in the factory stocks, but when he joined, Menchener went to give that to him, and he's like, "Wait, do you have any Racing with Moses stickers?" Because Mike Tash is Jewish, so.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. So that was always a fun memory for me, but so it's really sad. He's definitely gonna be missed. I mean, that's another loss that's gonna hurt. And I know the TQ guys have lost a couple. People this year, and this is just another one that is just a gut punch to them. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do going forward. I don't. There's no replacing him. I don't know if they're going to have anybody else or who's going to fill in for the invocation or whatnot. But
yeah.
We'll have to see how that goes. I
tell you what, Jeff Gravatt did a great job though. Saturday, he kind of like filled in the spot just temporarily for Bob.
Okay.
And he actually did a pretty good little prayer, and he kind of just said what Bob always said, And he also did a nice little tribute to Bob on the front straightaway in front of the grandstands. He spoke very highly of him. It was a good little speech that Jeff Gravatt did down there on the front straightaway. Thank you for that, Jeff. Another thing Bob was famous for was giving out those little flags, the little pennants to the feature winners. A lot of people don't know this, Josh, but he didn't give it. He only gave them to the lower divisions.
Huh.
I thought he gave them to everybody, like the sportsmen and the modifieds. He's like, no, they get bigger money, bigger purses. I just do this for the smaller divisions. He just gave them to the factory stocks and the force owners at Wall Stadium.
Huh.
And he's been doing it for years. And I have tons of them, and I'm pretty proud that I got the very last one he handed out to the factory stock guys.
Wow.
Because we ran the John Gaskell Memorial Race, and I won that race. And that Saturday he gave me the banner, and then that Monday he found out he had COVID. He tested positive for COVID, and then when they did race last Saturday, the factory stocks were off. And Bob wasn't there anyway. He was bound on COVID. And I even got a message on my phone. He messaged me, hey, because, I had on Facebook that me and Nancy were in Florida on vacation. He was just asking us how our vacation was going. I said, we're having a great time. How do you feel? And he says, I feel better. I feel great. I'll see you when you guys get back. And then the very next day he was gone. It was crazy.
Yeah, I saw Jeff Gravatt had posted about how Bob had been doing better and was hoping to be back, and how quickly it turned.
Yeah.
is I can't fathom that. It's ugh. So
All right, so we'll miss you, Bob. We're going to get moving on the show here. So Saturday night, it was a bike night. It was Stavola company night, and I think it was called something else too. It had a lot of names last Saturday night, but there was quite a few motorcycles out in the parking lot. Tim, did you notice that when you walked in?
oh, Tim.
Yeah, there were. No, I was. Yeah, there were a lot of motorcycles there.
I think
More
that's
than
a great
normal.
thing. I think that's a great thing when you make a motorcycle night, because there's a lot of former racers that once they retire or got out of racing, they got into motorcycles. It was just another form of.
Oh, you remember when we were little? There used to be a lot of motorcycles there.
A lot of people used to ride there. Yeah, they had a whole little parking lot just for motorcycles.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, it was pretty cool seeing a bunch of motorcycles out there. I know Brian Hammer had a bunch of motorcycles out there. And another cool thing I noticed, I went out into the grandstands. I guess it was right at intermission time. I just took a walk out there, and I couldn't believe how many Stavola, Brianna Page racing T-shirts I saw out there. It was Stavola night. I guess they invited all their employees and customers and stuff there. Man, there was tons of them, Josh.
Wow.
And I know Kimmy Ling and Brianna Page, they put that together because Kimmy actually works at Stavola, and Stavola sponsors Brianna Page's TQ Midget. So they did a great job, incorporating their sponsors to bring them to the track and everything like that.
Oh, that's just like the Napa night thing when they get.
It was exactly like the Napa night. I don't know how they did it, but I'm assuming Stavola bought a bunch of tickets like Napa does and gives them to their employees and their customers. But they must have gave them a food voucher or something too, because I know Napa night they give their customers a food voucher, like a $20 food voucher for the concession stands.
Right.
But when I walked out there was a line of people at the concession stands, and they all had Stavola shirts on. You know what I'm saying? So, did you notice that too?
Yeah. The one time the line at the concession stand, in the middle concession stand, was all the way backed up to the pit gate. That's how long it was.
Oh, maybe that's what I saw, because I don't go in the grandstands much. I need to do it more often, but because for a second I thought, I'm like, man, this line is so long for this pit side grandstand. Why isn't anybody going to the middle grandstand? There's nobody in line over there, but the line was going to there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. I thought that line was going to the concession stand by the pits, and there was nobody at the other one, but
there was both of them
both ways. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was pretty amazing how many people were there. They did a great job. And it's cool seeing a big company like Stavola get involved in bringing their people over to the racetrack, because that's what we need. We need big corporations, local corporations, to come to the races, enjoy the races one night. I hope that's something they do every year. It's pretty cool. And Brianna actually had a pretty good night racing in front of them people.
That's the best she's run ever, I think.
Yeah, she won her heat race, which was cool. So that her sponsors and employees got to see her win the heat race, and I think she ended up finishing 7th in the TQ race.
She started up front, and she was running with the good guys. The guys that were always running, and she ended up spinning out in the corner, and then she worked her way back up. She did, like I said, I think that's the best I've ever seen her run. She ran really good. Yeah.
She picked a good night to run very well with sponsors there. Sometimes I have the other luck. When no one's there, I win. When my sponsors show up, I drop out on lap 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the weather was great. It was perfect racing weather over there. No chance of rain. It was warm during the day and it cooled off at night. It made for some pretty much faster times. There was a bunch of us in the 15.9s in the factory stocks. This is when it gets racy, it gets faster,
Mm-hmm.
There was a good crowd at the racetrack. And I think we had a very weird feature lineup this week, for once the 4-cylinders were first, which was nice, you know what I'm saying? Because it gives them a chance to be first. Because usually the TQs are first, but I think it was the 4-cylinders, the TQs, then the first factory stock feature, then the modifieds, and then the second factory stock feature, and then the Sportsman were last. I understand why they do that. They want to mix it up and stuff, but I just think it was bad night to do that because we had twin features and we just didn't have enough time in between races. You know what I'm saying, Josh? They only gave us the 40-lap modified race, and I finished second in the first race. I had to go to Tech. By the time I get through Tech and then back over there and try to fix some of the damage I got in the race and put fuel in the car and fuel Nancy's car, lap 20, they're already screaming at us to get lined back up. It's just, I don't understand why they didn't have the factory stocks first and the factory stocks last. You know what I'm saying? You got to give us time in between the races.
Or if they could tech everybody after both.
Well, they did do a quick tech, like they just took our weights and checked camber, like the real quick stuff, and then of course I finished 7th in the second one. But I still had to go back through tech because I finished second in the first one. So they did a more thorough tech after the second race. Okay. But it's just I don't know. I just don't know what the thinking was there. I mean, it's just if you have twin features, you may. They're the first feature and the last feature. This way they got time to cool off. If there's now you're mad at somebody and you're going right back out there again. Now you're going to get them. You know what I'm saying?
That or at least
if you have an hour or an hour and a half to cool off, then you might forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have a problem with your race car, you don't have to. Now you got guys jacking cars up and don't even have time to slide a jack stand under it. Now it's getting dangerous. The car's not cooling off. They're trying to fix the car while it's hot. It's just like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever a division has twin features, they're first and they're last. It's that simple. I don't know why we only, with that many races that night, I don't understand why we only have one race in between us.
Yeah, I'd say at the bare minimum, more than one feature should go in between. Bare minimum. And, throw the Sportsman in there, which, if you...
Then I knew we were in trouble with the modified race because they didn't have that many cars. And, they only have 14 or 15 modifieds, there's a good chance it might go caution free, and those guys click off 12-second laps before you know it. In 5 minutes, the race is over. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I see that being frustrating.
All right, so the first feature down the hill was the 4-cylinder division. Josh, how many cars did they have?
16.
16. That's pretty good for this time of year.
Yep.
Tim, there was a flip in that race. Tim, did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who it was or anything, but I did see the flip, yes.
Was it a bad flip or an easy rollover? Or?
No, it was a pretty good one.
Like, what part of the track was it at?
Going in from the middle of the straightaway, going into turn 1.
Really? Did they flip on the track or on the asphalt in the infield?
I think he ended up on the inner oval.
Okay. I tell you what, we haven't seen a flip over there lately in the 4-cylinders. I was surprised because I heard it over the loudspeaker. I'm like, oh wow, there's a flip out there.
In my years, I can only recall one flip for the factory stocks, and that was Jerry, and I wasn't there that night, of course. I'm trying. It's like with the Legends or something. Those things flip. Often enough. The TQ, same thing. But
real quick about that Jerry flip too. It's bad enough Jerry flips his race car in the factory stocks, but then there's pictures of it on Facebook like the next week, and everybody's looking at the pictures of his car flipped over, and they're all saying his exhaust was illegal.
Yeah.
It's nothing like kicking the man while he's down. The guy just flipped his car. You're like, look at his exhaust pipes. They're illegal. It's like, leave the guy alone. He just flipped his race car. Who cares what his exhaust pipes are?
You got to call it out when you can.
True racer mentality. Well, we can see the bottom of his car. Let's nitpick.
Yep.
Nitpick it now,
Yeah. You got. It's the only time you're going to get under there, right? Oh, geez. All right. So
yeah, they did have a red flag for a flip in the 4-cylinder. Was that early in the race, Tim, or later in the race?
I think it was early.
Yeah, I think it was early too. Anything you want to say about that race, Tim? You're the only one that saw it. I didn't get a chance to see it, and Josh wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, the guy in the 7X one again, I believe, right?
He's on a roll.
Yeah.
I noticed he's second in points, and he's coming on strong at the end. I know
he's been running good.
Yeah, I wonder what happened there. If he found something, or if he was having problems all year and he finally got it fixed. But yeah, all of a sudden he's back up front and winning a ton of races again.
I think something just clicked. I think he tried something, found the right thing, and it's working.
Because when he first started racing Wall, he was fast and winning a lot, and then he wasn't winning for a while, and now he's back winning again. I wonder what type of car that is, Josh. Do you know what type of car that 7X is?
I think that's I thought that was a Nissan. like a
Nissan?
240 SX or something. But I know that Mike Wall drove a 240 SX. I thought the 7X was one as well, but I'm not certain.
Okay.
Other than that,
And he comes from New York too. He's not a local guy. He comes from pretty far a race too. So he always gets there late too. He shows up like right at heat time or sometimes after the heat race. You know what I'm saying?
That's my style. But
once the sun starts going down, you're like, it's cooling off now. I'll start heading over to the track. You know?
My first time seeing that car was actually out at Evergreen. So
yeah.
I don't
All
know.
right, Josh, hit us with the top 10 for the 4-cylinders.
All right, yep. Mike Lavery, as we were just speaking about. Then Ryan Marr, Alonso Morales, Nicole Rosano, James Hall, Ian Ashford, Alex Gretz, Cody Critelli, Billy Pross, and Bill Schwartz are your top 10.
I'll have to say one thing that James Hall kid, he's a Sunday Series graduate. He's getting better and better.
Oh, good.
He's getting better.
5th out of 16 cars. That's not bad.
I do watch him. He's definitely.
What number is he,
better.
Tim?
28, I think it is. I'm not. There's a couple 28s out there.
Oh, is there? Okay.
There's a blue one, and then he's a white and black one.
Okay.
Yeah, almost looks like a cheap version of a Halloween car type thing.
Okay. I know that one.
Yeah, I know what car you're talking about. So he's a graduate of the Sunday Series, Tim? Is this his first year on the big track?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
That's what's cool about the 4-cylinders. It's a perfect next step from the flat track on the inner oval to the big track. You know, you just go from a go-kart or a champ kart or something like that right over to the 4-cylinders. That's a pretty logical step, you know?
All right. So who was next down the hill?
I think it was the TQs, right, Tim?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, the TQ feature was the next down the hill. How many cars they have, Josh?
They don't tell. Jeff Gravatt doesn't give us that luxury.
You don't have the results for the TQs?
I can tell you who won. That's all they in Jeff Gravatt's thing. That's all I have. I'll see if there was anything on the other site. Where'd it go? Okay, anyway, Buddy Slode, didn't he win the last one?
Oh, another thing about TQ midgets, it was the J.J. Lane Memorial Race, right, Tim?
Yes, it was. Yep. Yeah, Ace Lane and the brother were there.
All right, so it was Stavola night, right? Bike night. Basically, that's the motorcycles out front, and it was the J.J. Lane Memorial.
It was something else too. It was some kind of retro night or something too.
Yeah, it's getting carried away with what's going on over there. But you know what happened? It's just because of the rain and everything.
I found the results.
I mean, I have it off Race Monitor.
Oh, okay. That you can do that too if you want.
All right, so it was the J.J. Lane Memorial Race. I did see Ace Lane there and John. I saw the Lane family there, and they made a pretty cool flag. Did you see that?
Yes.
Tommy Lane showed it to me.
Oh yeah, it was like a big banner, or yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was a little hard to see at night on the track.
It was a darker flag, but during the day up close, it looked pretty cool. It's it's just a JJ Lane on it. It was a flag for the winner to do a victory lap with it, which I thought was a nice touch for the memorial race for JJ, which we lost very, very early in the COVID pandemic. He was one of the first ones we knew, right, Josh, that passed from COVID?
Yeah.
He was young, too. I think he was only 33. Yeah. And he was another one. He was very much like Bob Menchener. Always greeted you with a smile. Always shook your hand. He was kind of the one that started the fist bump. He'd always walk up and give you a fist bump, and then of course try to sell you a photo.
Yeah. Luckily,
let's face it, he was the last one to run the photo stand too. Once he passed away, that was pretty much the demise of the photo stand.
Yeah. Now, Scott, actually, let me ask you something. With the photo stand gone, what do you when you need a photo? Do you just contact like Pat?
Yeah. Like my Victory Lane photos, Pat McGee sent me a bunch of samples on the computer, and then you just tell them to print them, and you buy them from them. Same with some of the other photographers that are there. you see one of their pictures on the website or on Facebook, you just message them and say you want a print of it, and they'll print it out for you.
Okay.
Because pretty cool. One cool thing about Wall with the victory lane in the pits after the races. When I won that race, I had a lot of people coming from the grandstands into victory lane. So now they get a chance to buy a picture of them in victory lane with me, which is pretty cool. I did have a bunch of people come in that said, thanks for letting us take a picture in victory lane with you. We bought the picture and now we have it in our house, so that was
that's
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was on, and it was on the front cover of the program. So there's people in my victory lane from the grandstands. Now they got an opportunity to be on the front cover of the program too. So that's good too.
I buy all my pictures from Kristen Koga.
Okay.
Yeah, she's cool. She takes nice pictures.
And Pete McDonald.
Was Pete there Saturday? I didn't see.
No, I'm sure he was at New Egypt. He's a big jerk guy.
No, I think he was down in Bridgeport for the Danny.
That's what I meant.
Race.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, Bridgeport down at Danny Serrano race. Someone told me he might have had COVID too. He might have been laying low because of that.
I don't know. I talked to him via text message last Saturday and he didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. So it was a 25-lap race, the JJ Memorial Race for the TQ midgets. Buddy Slode was the winner. Josh, I don't know if you remember, but he was at John Gasco night over at Wall Stadium. The TQs were there that same night. He was the guy that cried in Victory Lane. Remember that?
One of the guys that cried in Victory Lane.
No, he was pretty much the main guy that cried over there.
Oh no, Scott wasn't one of them. I'm sure.
It was pretty funny. I was standing at the back of my race car. I think I was putting fuel in or something. And Buddy Slode has like the nicest golf cart in the pits. You ever see his golf cart over there? It's lettered just like the race car has the Spitfire sponsorship on it and everything, and his number 36 on it. He comes flying up and slams on the brakes. He's like, "Hey man," I said, "What's up?" He's like, "Don't worry, it's cool to cry in victory lane," and he drove off. I thought that was pretty funny, man. So we're crybaby buddies, me and Buddy Slode. So did he cry this time in victory lane, Tim?
I don't think so. No, I don't remember anybody. I don't remember anybody crying in victory lane this week.
So it's pretty cool. He must have listened to the podcast. And,
yeah, and
when we mentioned that he cried in victory lane and stuff, I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, congratulations to Buddy Slode. I guess that's 2 wins in a row for him over there. Then
at least at Wall, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, they go other places. Second was the number 22 of Kyle Taraska.
Yep.
The number 3 was third position was number 95 of Jeff Cott. And number 4 was the 1B of Joey Bailey. Fifth place was the number 51 of Ryan Tidman. Sixth place was the number 55C of Steve Craig. We talked about this young lady racer earlier in the show, the Stavola car. She finished 7th. It was the 76 of Brianna Page. Great job, Brianna, bringing all your sponsors to the race like that. That was really cool. 8th place finish was the number 27 of Robert Willis. Here's a familiar name for us, Josh. A 9th place finisher was the number 73 of Cole Mullen.
Wow.
And 10th place was the number 39 of Tyler Ferris. They had 15 cars. That's pretty good.
That's a good show for them, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say, I think the most I saw was like 20 or something down. It was one of the first races on the inner oval for the TQs. And that was, it was wild.
I think they do a real good job.
Yeah.
They have their own drivers meeting. They all park together at the back of the pits. They run their own little program. It's like a program within a race program. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
They run their own little show back there. And, their races go usually pretty quick. This one had a few spins and a few yells. This one took a little longer than it normally does. But it's definitely pretty cool. Tim, do you think that number 51, I'll have to ask Joey Payne. He knows a lot of the history of the TQ cars. You think that number 51 that still races out there is still the car that like Siscone and all them drove back in the day?
I believe it is, yeah.
It's still painted similar like that car and everything. So I wonder if that's the same family. I'll have to ask Joey Payne that. He knows the history of the TQ midgets over there. The TQ midgets have been around forever, I will say. I mean, me and Tim remember when we were as kids. They used to get tons of them, man. They used to fill that racetrack. But yeah, it's still a strong club, and they're still doing good. it's good to see them still around, you know. So yeah, congratulations, buddy Sloat, on your win once again. So the factory stock race was the next one down the hill, and this was a makeup race from June 19th. That's how long ago this race was supposed to. This is when we went to the track. We got heat races in, but features were rained out,
right.
So we finally got a chance to make up that race. Where did I start in that race? I think I started fifth I think I was fifth. I started in that race. It's one of those races you want to run hard because, you know, you want to do well, but then you got to be careful because, like I said before, we only have one race in between and we got to race again. So you don't want to wreck in that race either, you know. But my brother called me during the week. He's like, man, you were fast in that first race, but you're a little slower in the second race. And he is right. And the only thing I can think of that changed was my toe did get knocked out a little bit in the first one, and I didn't really have a chance to fix it, but it was close enough. It wasn't that bad. It was only a little off. But my car did get tight in the second race, but I'm thinking because the modified rubber, Josh, we were right after the modified race, that changes the track big time for us. And it's not like my car was tight. It just had like a weird chatter on the right front when I was coming off the corner, and I just think I was on top of the modified rubber. You know what I'm saying?
You know how the white lines, like in turn 4, picks up so much. Right. It feels like you hit a damn pothole when your front tires hit that rubber.
And you're exactly right. And sometimes when your front tires hit that painted line with the rubber on it, your nose of the car will shove for a second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it'll slide on top of it. Yeah, it's like going over a speed bump.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's why I that's where I expect hubs to break because it's just a shock to the.
I wonder why the rubber sticks on that paint more than it does on the asphalt. It is weird, isn't it?
I need to check on my physics because I'm not entirely sure. But it is amazing though. I mean, how that works like that. I almost wish they'd come through with just a little something to,
scrape it off. Well, they used to try to like heat it up and then scrape it off. They used to try to burn it a little bit and scrape it off with a shovel. But
yeah.
How many cars did we have in that? I think we had 18 cars in that one, right, Josh? 18 or 19?
21, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were able to buy into that race or add into that race.
Okay.
If you weren't, the field was frozen for the qualified cars for that race,
But you could add into the back.
Show up and you weren't there June 19th, you could add into that race, but you had to start at the rear, which makes sense.
I fully support that because you get more cars on the track. It's a better show for everybody. Oh, and that was the Fattery stock feature, by the way. I just want to make sure I get that.
Well,
right.
They might as well just change this to street stocks because that's what they announced us in the pits. Street stocks line up, line up. You know?
So there are okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My brother said, "Man, you ran really good in that first race." I said, "Tim, I really didn't pass a car. Like people in front of me had troubles right in the beginning of the race. Unfortunately, Chris Webber." In his very first year of racing, he started on the pole and he got into an accident come off of turn 4, and Gary Burton got collected in that wreck, and a few other guys got collected in that wreck. So then on the next restart, I don't know how I made it through that wreck because I was right there and it happened in front of me. It was one of those wrecks, Josh, where I'm like, I got nowhere to go. I just got to try to get the least damage to my car, like kind of square them up and push them through or whatever. So I slow down, and you don't want to slow down too much because then you get rear-ended too and pushed in harder. So I slowed down for 1 second. It was just like the seas parted. I thought the 51 actually stayed up closer to the wall than I thought he was going to. I thought he was going to slide down in front of me. And the two cars that were in the middle that I was really worried about, they actually hooked together and went down in the infield. So the 51 stayed up by the wall, and the other two cars went into the infield, and it just opened this big hole for me, and I just drove right through it, and I didn't get a scratch on my car. So then on the restart, I was sitting third, I think, and I think our sponsor, Nick Catone, he was on the pole, and Brian O'Shea. Kevin Flores was up there, too. I think I started fifth or fourth. And so when the green flag came out again, you had Nick Catone, Kevin Flores, and Brian O'Shea, and then me going down the front. I haven't seen this in a while. This used to happen a lot in the factory stocks, going down the front straightaway. Kevin Flores' hood blew off his car. And it wrinkled like a piece of tinfoil, and I thought I was done. I thought it was coming right through I thought it was going over his roof and into my windshield because I had nowhere to go. I was right behind him, and luckily he made a quick turn to the left to get down lower, and luckily one hood pin held it on. Yeah, so it was covering his windshield, but then it blow off and blow over and hit me. But it was a scary moment. So now I'm sitting third. Still haven't passed the car, but I'm moving right on up. And then Nick Catone and Brian O'Shea get together coming off of 4, and they go down into the infield. And now I'm leading for a split second. Like during the infield, and I pass them on the outside. But then Nick came sliding through the infield, got on the track, and spun out and caused the yellow.
Okay.
So he bought the yellow out, so he had to go to the rear. And because they do the previous lap thing, you know what I'm saying?
So put you back behind O'Shea. Okay.
Yeah, so that put Brian on the pole and me on the outside pole. And then from there on, me and Brian were able to take off from the field and pull away. It's kind of a nice feeling because I could stay with Brian, but I know he had a screw up for me to pass him, so I wasn't going to push the issue, and there was nobody behind us. So it was like, all right, I'll take a second here. My car's in one piece. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the next race. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But unfortunately, we did lose a few cars in the first race that couldn't make repairs in time to make it out to the second race. Josh, you want to hit us with the top 10 on the first race?
Absolutely. So the Fattery Stock feature, first one, Brian O'Shea, Scott Riggleman, Nick Kilmer, Robert Stack, Doug Ashford, Nick Catone, Joey Hellberg, haven't seen him in a while, Greg Mench, Elliott Wall, and Brian Osborne are your top 10.
Yeah, Ellie went into the night as a point leader with about a 30-point lead, and he had a tough night, Yeah. He got into an accident early, and he bent some stuff up in the front end. Then he made his way back up there pretty good, and then like 2 laps ago, he got a flat or something, so he hit for a tire and come back out. And
I think it's happened to all of us where that flat tire, and it just, damn. And and it's too late for you to, you can't make up that many spots that late in the race. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the first
Did you see anything out there? Why was the tower so wound up after that race?
I don't know. Tim brings up a point on the race scanner. I guess it was Dave Michael, our race director. He was yelling at us that it was the worst race he'd ever seen. He was very disappointed. I said, "Oh my God, I didn't think it was that bad." You know what I'm saying?
I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he'll tell us this week at the drivers' meeting. But yeah, he was pretty fired up. But by then, I didn't care. I finished second. I was just worried about getting my car fueled back up through tech, Nancy's car fueled back up, and getting her situated.
How many cautions were there, Scott?
There was a few in that race, but not a lot.
Okay.
Well, the one bad was that the first race. We're getting ready to go back green, and somehow Johnny Carpenter and Elliott Wall got hooked.
yeah.
And they were stuck together, and they had to bring tow trucks out to separate them. So something happened under a caution there where they got hooked together.
Maybe that was part of why.
Yeah, that might have been part of the problem because that was a little bit of a delay, right, Tim? That took a while for them to get them unhooked and get re-racked up and ready to go again. So yeah, our first race was a little tough. I don't know if we should have got yelled at that bad. I mean, he pretty much told us it was the worst feature he's seen all year, and I've seen some pretty bad features over there.
To put it gently, Dave Michaels was a little cranky Saturday night.
I'm telling you, Tim, didn't it feel like there was a lot of pressure there that Saturday? I didn't feel anybody. It's just like the season winding down.
It's that time of year. You got to.
Yeah.
If you're running for points, you got to pass that guy, and it's also that time of year. And this guy's taken me out 3 times. It's my time to take him out.
You're right, Tim. I didn't think about that showing up there Saturday. I thought it was going to be a pretty easy night, but when I left there, I'm like, man, that was a crazy, crazy night.
I remember, I think it was like opening night or very early in the season at the very least. One of the races I filmed, it was probably one of the. It was like the first year that I wasn't there for opening night for 2 race, and it was a disaster of a race. And I remember Eric Graham screaming at everybody over the receiver afterwards. But I mean, there were tempers flaring. There was this some of the dumbest wrecks you've seen. Like that.
Like I said in this race, me and Brian were running second. We were gone. to me, it felt like a smooth race. But then when I get in the pits, Nancy's in mid-pack where all the action's happening. She's like, Scott, that race was rough, man. You didn't see it behind you. I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I take their word for it, I guess. I don't know. But, I mean, I think it's a pretty high bar to, screw up and get yelled at by the
feature
tower.
of the year. I don't think it was that bad. I mean, we were able to finish the race. I've seen people rip the fence down and not be able to finish the race.
Well, what was it?
The worst feature that we had.
What was it? 2 weeks ago? What feature did they went single file and then they just finished it a couple laps early?
Yeah, then they ended up. Then they throw the checker anyway. It was nothing like that.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the first factory stock race. Next down the hills were the Mighty Modifieds. They were a little short on cars this time. I think they only had 14 or 15, right, Josh?
I'm showing 14.
14, yeah, it's a little low for the Modifieds. But then again, they're expensive to race every week, so if you're really not in the points right now, and it was just a normal 40-lapper for them, and they do have that Cliff Krause race still coming up in 2 weeks, so some guys might be saving their stuff and money for that race.
Yeah.
Tim, did you spot for anybody in this race?
Yeah, Ricky Collins.
Oh, coming off your win together, right?
Yeah. We won last week. We didn't talk about that because Scott was chasing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was
chasing cocktails and dreams.
I put the word out for a co-host.
We had somebody lined up, and then
Josh dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Well, then I was ready for the next night, and then they weren't. And
never worked out. I know I'm the glue that keeps this podcast together. That's okay. I know you guys aren't going to be able to do it without me.
Yeah, so the factory stock race was
camp going.
The factory stock race was the worst race Dave Michaels has ever seen until the modifieds came out, and then it really got fired.
Everything's great.
I tell you what, though, like I said, we had to hurry up and get ready, and the first 20 laps went by fast, and they started screaming at us to line up, and then of course, what always happens, Josh. We rush. We get lined up, and then we sit there for a while. And then they start having problems in the modified race.
Yep.
Anything special you want to talk about that race, Tim? I didn't see it. I was in my car.
I guess of course I wasn't paying any attention, but the crowd was going nuts. I mean, Eric Moriello and Tyler Truex. Tyler Truex isn't scared to rub fenders or rub.
No, he's aggressive.
He's aggressive. And, in my opinion, Eric Moriello is one of the best drivers there. So it was, as much as I hate to call Eric Moriello a veteran now because he's still a little kid to me, but, he's a veteran and Tyler's a good driver to me. In my opinion, it was just two drivers running hard. They were racing each other. They were nerfing each other. I never saw anything where, anything terrible happened. And all of a sudden, I'm concentrating on what we're doing, the car I'm spotting for. And then the yellow came out. I heard yellow, yellow, yellow. And the yellow came out, and the track was clear. And then the tower the guy started yelling and screaming, and he said, this happens again. I'm going to park to both of you. And then he ended up putting Tyler was leading, and Eric was second at this time. And he ended up putting Eric back in front of Tyler. So I don't know if Tyler tried to dump him or, either or. You should go to the rear if he dumped him, but I don't think he dumped him.
So no one spun or nothing, and the yellow was thrown.
Yeah, as far as I know.
So it's like the race director threw the yellow just
threw the yellow, to make that call.
It's like kind of be like the referees in football, timeout during a play to straighten something out.
Now the only thing I can see, Dave Michaels is a 6-time modified champion, and he knows what's going on out there, and he's won
like 8-time. Tim, don't try.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dave Michaels. 8-time Sportsman champion.
Modified champion.
No, they're mad cars. That's not modified. He saw something where he thought, hey, they're going to hurt each other. God forbid if he wouldn't have called him and somebody got hurt, then that's a whole other thing. I don't know why he threw the yellow. Maybe something happened to him. I tell you what, if I didn't see it, 3/4 of the fans didn't see it either because they were all fired up too. I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's the first time I've ever. I think I remember one time when we were kids. I don't remember. You have to ask Charlie. I think it was either Charlie Kremer or Gil Hearn. They were smoking and smoking and smoking. And they kept black flagging them and black flagged him, and then they finally threw the yellow to throw him off the track.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
That's the only time I can remember that ever happening before. But yeah, for some reason he switched him on the track, and I think that's what pissed everybody off.
Yeah, right.
And then after that,
there again, it might have went back to that previous lap thing, and even though they were side by side, Eric might have led that lap by a bumper or two.
Yeah, and then he said, "Don't touch each other. After you guys touch again, you're both getting black flagged." So then Tyler couldn't rough him up again to try to pass him. So then they basically finished
the race after that.
Yeah.
So the race director ultimately kind of decided that the end of that race there.
Who knows? I mean, Eric still could have won, but I mean,
who knows? Yeah. But the fans
let them race. Let them race. Let's see what
happens. There's a little bit of Bob and Gray there Saturday. The fans all giving the tower the finger, throwing soda cups up at the tower. Oh,
that's good. It shows passion.
Yeah, it was a good night.
All right, Josh, is with the top 10 for the modified guys.
Sure. Eric Moriello, Tyler Truex, Eddie McCarthy, Stephen Reed, Andrew Krause, Ricky Collins, Eric Lane, Jason Treat, Kenny Van Wickle, and Joey Merlino. One
thing I did hear, because we were next down on the hill, I had my receiver in, they kind of threw the 11 car out for next week over the...
Oh, what happened? He spun out on the last lap or whatever. Something happened, and it really was... It was in his blind side. One of the track workers was walking up to see if he was okay. And he was pissed off and he was mad. So he took off to go, like he was pissed off. So he did a burnout.
So it wasn't what happened on the track. It was what.
No,
seen of the accident.
Yeah, how was
track workers in danger?
Yeah, but he couldn't see him. You know what I mean?
We got spotters, Tim. What's the spotter doing?
I don't know. God knows who spotted for him. Marco or Nat.
Well, you know how you spotters are. As soon as the checker flag's out, you shut your radios off.
Now, I learned that. You want to hear a story? I learned that at Loud, and I used to do that. You use the checker flag. You're worried about getting down to the elevator, you know?
Right.
So there was they came across the track at Loud, and John was running like second or third. So I'm like, I want to get down. And they went around the corner, and there, I guess the car had spun out. I still had my headset on at this time, and I guess somebody had spun out on the backstretch on the last lap, and the leaders all ran into him. And John was like, "Where the F were you on that one? You damn near killed." Ever since then, I always waited till he was off the track before. That was a long time ago. Damn.
All right, Josh, here's what the top 10 for the modifieds.
I just did.
Oh, you already did. Right,
holy crap.
It's enjoyable.
Deja vu.
All right, so we were the next ones down the hill for our second race, and that was the scheduled race for this Saturday. You know, this was the race we were there to race. Unfortunately, some of the tempers that carry over from the first one.
There wasn't enough cool down time, right, Scott?
Yeah, it wasn't enough cool down time. People were still mad from the first race, and when they went back out in the second race, it just continued on. I started further back in this race. I started 9th in this race, and I just didn't have the luck in this race as I did the first race. You know, the people up front stayed up front. We kind of got single file for a while too, Josh, where we just kind of looked like a modified race for a little while. We were just nose to tail single file, and nobody was doing anything. And I was the last car in that line. I think it was 6 cars in line.
You're like, come on, do something.
Yeah, and then when you're 6, it's not like you're going to go 6 to first. You're better off just sitting there because there's really nobody behind me. We're kind of checked out a little bit.
Yeah, let them screw up and take advantage of it.
Let them make the mistake, and then I'll be, you know, in a spot where I can get around it, you know. And it never quite happened. I mean, they get banging and side by side, but no one lost it to the point I gained spots. You know what I'm saying?
So maybe getting yelled at actually worked, and they calmed down.
It got racy there. I mean, they were definitely battling. You know, I was waiting for something to happen, and nothing really ever happened. There was one bad wreck, and I think it was kind of like a retaliation wreck because the 98 and O'Shea got into it in the first feature a little bit, and then I don't know, Tim, you might have saw it better in the grandstands, but from what I heard, it looked like Nick tried to take the 27 out in the second race. And he ended up wrecking his car worse than O'Shea got. And, you know, there was fence damage and everything like that. And Nick's car was pretty bent up. And O'Shea did have to go to the pits and make repairs, but he was able to make it up. I think he ended up finishing 5th in the second race. So he was able to make it back up.
Yep. Wow.
Tim, did you see that wreck on the front straightaway or no?
I caught the end of it.
People were saying it was a loud thud too.
It was one of those. That was one of those where you go, oh, that would hurt. He was the O'Shea was already sideways by the time I caught it, and then Nick. To me, it looked like Nick tried to finish him off, and I think he ended up bouncing off the wall himself, and then
at that point he didn't care. He probably just saw red and floored whatever happened.
Tell you what, that 27 is built pretty good because he drove right away from it. So. I don't know. That was one of those things where
we did have a first time winner. I know in the results, Josh, his name is Doug Ashford, but I know on Facebook his name's Andrew Ashford.
That was a hell of a pass.
And let's not forget that in the 4 cylinders, there's Ian Ashford too.
That's his brother.
Yeah. So I mean, there's more than enough ash to go around.
But that Andrew Ashford car, he's a great guy. I got to know him this year. He only parks a couple spots down for me. He's been working real hard at it. He's been trying real hard. That's the former Tim Majak car, the 74 from last year.
Oh, okay.
He bought that off of Rich Monjo and Tim Majak, and it was nice to see him to get a win because he was starting to get a little discouraged. He calls me a lot, and I help him as much as I can with setups. And he did call me when he was in Florida. He said, his front springs pulled out of his car, and he wanted me to ask if I had a spring rater, if I could rate them for him to see if they were okay. And I did, but I said, well, drop them off at my house. I'll be home Wednesday, and I'll rate them. But I guess he found a rater before I got home. So I know he did a lot of work to that car, and it seemed to pay off for him because he was pretty fast, and he was able to get his first win. It's always great to see someone get their first win. And him and his family are great people. And like you said, they bring 2 cars to the track. They bring a factory stock and a 4-cylinder to the track. They were very happy to get their win.
He actually passed somebody to win the race. He didn't
start on the pole and mirror drive or anything like that. It was a good race. And unfortunately, he passed Nick Kilmer, and Nick has a win already, but he hasn't won this year. And Nick, in that Gasco race, he blew his motor up. His motor blew up big time. The crank actually broke and took out 2 cylinders and 2 rods, and it's a Martino motor, and he brought it right back to Martino. And Tom actually rebuilt that motor. I think they even had to put a couple sleeves in the block. And Nick got the motor back, like Thursday of last week, and he actually got the motor back in and got it done and made it back to the track. That's pretty impressive,
And it shows here he finished 3rd, and that's with a sleeved engine.
Yeah, and I think he finished 3rd in both, didn't he, Josh?
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no quitting.
I'm just surprised that you don't lose, displacement.
I mean, Josh blew a motor up 5 years ago, and he still hasn't.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Nick Kilmer for getting his motor back together and making it back to the track and having 2 great finishes. 2 top 3s.
No, that's good for him. Sorry, I got distracted. I started thinking about after I got back from that little vigil thing for Menchener. My dad and I had met him at the farm there in Toms River, and so after we get back or whatever, I drop him off, and we just start staring at the car and going, what do we need to do? What's going to be the steps, and you just, so that's the thing, like being at, all right, now I'm starting to think about it. All right. So
about the time you got home and had a couple beers, you forgot all about it.
No. I actually, I'm coming up with a plan. Although I will say, there's going to be a dual, it's kind of a dual project. The race car trailer is, in bad
worst shape of the car.
The axles, because they're the drop axles, and where the seam is, or I guess some crud had collected, and so it stayed damp and it rotted there, and it bent just a little bit. So the one wheel just sits a little cocked. So I'm like, all right, it's time for new axles. It desperately.
Well, you gotta remember, it's easier to borrow a trailer than it is to borrow a race car.
Yeah, get the race car done first. And matter of fact, Nick Kilmer, he's actually using my 1-car trailer now. I got the 2-car trailer, so he borrowed my trailer. He's been using my trailer to get to the races. Yeah, get the car done first. We'll get it to the track, Josh. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, get the squirrels out of it first.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, hit us with the top 10 in the second factory stock race.
All right, second factory stock feature: Doug Ashford, Ryan Flores,
Andrew Ashford.
Andrew. I'm reading it the way that he. This is how he filled it out on his form. Well, actually, let me ask. So, if that's what was on his paperwork for the track, was to be Doug, what does it say actually above the door?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that'll be my homework assignment.
Yeah. Please find that out.
Figure out what Doug Andrew Ashford's name is.
Then I said Ryan Flores, Nick Kilmer, Billy Both, Brian O'Shea, Elliot Wall, Scott Riggleman, AJ Jadaki, Robert Stack, and Matt Bedessa are your top 10.
And we also got to mention that AJ Jadaki is back. He had a bad wreck midway through the season where his car got rolled out. That's actually the car he was driving. Is actually the former John Bowers number 49.
Oh, okay.
So it's a different car that he wrecked?
Yeah, it's a different car than a wreck. That's the John Bowers blue 49 that Bowers was racing at the beginning of the year. They got that car and they put their motor in that car, and that's what AJ and Chucky Jadaki are racing now.
So if Bowers is out,
yeah,
is Bartone still?
Yeah, but I was surprised Tony wasn't there, because when we were able to go the Friday before the John Gasco Memorial Race to buy 4 tires, Tony was actually there buying 4 tires and said he was going to race, and then he didn't show up. So I don't know what happened there. No, Tony does still plan on racing, and John still plans on helping Tony.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. So the last race of the night was the Sportsman division.
Which, did you notice? A lot of people stayed to watch. I was very curious to see that.
And a lot of people stayed to go into the pits too. There was a pretty good crowd.
Yeah,
in the pits
I'd say part of it's because they want to go in the pits. The other part is other times people just see that they're a type of modified, so they.
You know what I noticed? Plus, a lot of Stavola people were there. They might have, they were there. They wanted to see the races. But you know what people do at the last race? They'll stay.
The first yellow?
First caution, yeah. And then if it starts turning into a wreck fest, not just saying the Sportsman, whatever the division is for the last race of the night, they'll stay for it. But if it turns into a wreck fest or if there's an oil down and the speedy drive needs to be used, they head for the gates. But if the race goes by quick, they'll stay for the whole race and come in the pits, That's just the way it's always been in racing. And it's a pretty good idea,
It's a way to hedge your bets.
Anything you want to say about the Sportsman race, Tim? Did you do any spotting for the Sportsman guys?
I spotted for the O2 again, Ryan
Fisher.
Yeah. Honestly, by that time, I was so tired. I don't remember anything that happened in the race report, anything good or bad happening. He spun out. I think he got spun out. If I remember right, we had to start in the back. I think he kind of came back up and finished. Where did he finish the O2, Josh?
Seventh.
Yeah, so car was in one piece as far as I'm concerned. That was good. The car's in one piece and everything was good. Nobody was looking to fight us. So, other than that, I really don't remember what happened up front, to tell you the truth.
I know there was one bad wreck. I know Neil Rudd the third. He ended up.
Oh, it was that. Yeah, that was that. Right? Yeah, he went into turn 1 pretty hard. Yeah, he got out.
He hit the straightaway coming out of 1 and got up on the wall. And I guess by the time he got down to turn 3, coming out of 2, I should say, on the back straightaway, hit the wall. And I guess by the time he got down to turn 3, he had a flat or something broke in the right front and went straight into the wall.
He got out yelling and screaming at somebody. So
I think Larry Thompson.
Yeah, I think Larry won, right?
Yeah, yes. Larry ended up winning, which is his second win of the year. He's back on a roll again. He's back winning. His car's fast again. Go ahead, Josh. Here's with the top 10 because I want to move on to the points.
Yep, not a problem. The Sportsman feature Larry Thompson, Jarrett DiGiantomaso, Jake Nelke, Chris Silvestri, Karsten DiGiantomaso, Kevin Davison, Ryan Fisher, Dave Bailey, Jimmy Wolcott, and Teddy Kramer.
All right, cool. That was the top 10 for the Sportsman division.
They had 13 cars, by the way.
Oh, wow. All right. What we want to do real quick, that wraps up what happened Saturday night at Wall Stadium. Coming up to this week, we're going to go into championship night, which is double points. Regular lap features for all divisions, but it's double points. So you can lose a lot of points or you can gain a lot of points, and it kind of dictates who's going to win the championship. So real quick, before we get off air here, we just want to go through the points and see who, there's some close battles going on, and we're just going to make a quick prediction who we think may win the championship in every division.
Okay.
Josh, got the points pulled up.
Yeah. So right now we'll just start with the modifieds. We'll just go in order here.
And it's updated, right? Like the date's updated. Like it says,
updated 9/25.
Right.
So yeah, that's 3 days ago.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
All right. So the modifieds, what do you want? Just the top 5 for this?
Yeah, just do the top 5.
Okay. So we have Andrew Krause, Stephen Reed, Eddie McCarthy, Tom Martino Jr., and Blake Barney.
Who's third in points?
Eddie McCarthy.
How many points does Andrew have?
Andrew has 483 points.
What's Stephen Reed have?
He's down 44 points. He's at 439.
So he could easily win, right?
Yeah. It's double points.
Oh, yeah.
It's 110 points. The problem is if they don't have a big
12 cars.
field. Yeah, if there's only 13 or 14 cars, I don't think it basically comes down to 10 points for the win, because you get 5 bonus points for winning. So now it's double points, so you get 10 bonus points, and then it's usually a 2-point. It goes down 2 points per spot. Then it'll be 50 points for second, 48 for third. But now it's double points. Basically, each spot is worth 4 points. So he would need to win to get to 10, and then
12 cars.
Yeah.
Just for what it's worth, Eddie McCarthy's only out by 49 points.
So he's close too. So it still can change hands. It's not a done deal for Andrew. It all depends on car count. If 21 cars show up, then Andrew's got to be careful. If there's only 12 or 13 cars, then he's just got to finish in the top 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In that type of situation, it comes down to car count.
Anything could happen, but yeah, Andrew's in a good position,
right,
for right now. So
right.
Yeah, but he's not out of the woods yet.
All right. So my prediction with that one is Andrew.
I'm gonna have to agree.
Tim, you got
Yeah. Well, I certainly ain't picking Stephen Reed. I'll tell you that. I know you're trying to bait me on that one. No, with the car counts as low as they've been and as good as Andrew's been running, you're gonna have to say he could do it. Anything could happen, but I'm gonna have to say Andrew Krause for that one.
Okay,
Josh.
All right. So next up is Sportsman.
Josh, you didn't predict one.
Oh, I agreed with you.
Okay. What you got to say, Josh?
I'm sorry, Andrew Krause. Sorry.
Stand on your own 2 feet, man.
Hold
it's
my
all
hand.
through history. Andrew Krause is going to be the 2021 Wall Stadium Modified Champion.
Okay.
But there is an RPM podcast curse, so we might have just ruined it for him. So there might be 25 modifieds there, and he might fight the 25th, and Stephen Reed's going to win.
I don't think there's been 25 modifieds all year.
No. Go ahead, Josh. Let's do the Sportsman next.
Not a problem. So the top 5 are Karsten D. Giant Tommaso, Kevin Davison, Jake Nelke, Jarrett D. Giant Tommaso, and Neil Rutt III. Now, I will say, Neil is out by 108 points, but fourth is 34 points out, then 33, then 28 points, going up to second.
So what's the gap between first and second?
The gap between first and second is 28 points.
It's doable, but there again, car count. What did they have last week? 13 cars, you said?
Yeah, they would average like 15 cars. There's not been a ton of them.
You know what? Let's make it exciting. I'm going to pick Kevin Davison for the championship.
I was going to say Kevin Davison is real consistent.
Yeah.
So.
I wish he would have finished a little bit better last week. I think he had a 7th place finish last week.
I'm going to go with Jarrett.
Is he the third one? Or
he's in fourth, but he's 34 points out. I say, look, if those top couple wreck or whatever, and he moves up,
right. I'm going with Kevin.
All right, so let me type this out. So Scott is picking Kevin.
It's a long shot, but Kevin, like Tim says, he's a smooth driver. He's won championships before. He needs a little help. Let's face it, he needs a little help, and he needs a good car count.
Tim, who'd you pick?
I'm gonna play it safe and pick the 33 because he's the fastest car there every week.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't have any trouble, he should easily.
He's just got to run a smart race. He's just got to run a smart race, and he's going to lock it up.
Okay. All right. So I'll leave you with Karsten. I'm trying to keep track of everybody as we go here. All right. So that'll wrap up our Sportsman. We'll save the factory stocks for the end. How about that?
Yeah.
Late models. Yeah.
Wow. What, they got like 50 points? They only raced like 3 times. Which said, like, Josh is figuring out, we didn't get to talk about last week because Scott wasn't, we didn't do a podcast. That was a great race last week, the just late model race.
No, they can put on a good show.
They put on a good show, yeah. They really do. And they didn't have a lot of cars, but they had more than they normally did. Was there 10 cars there that week?
There might be a few more cars this week because now I think Riverhead's points are done, Tim. So now you might get some of those late model guys might come down the wall to race.
It's kind of funny because even when you go, like, if I click back to Sportsman, there's 22 people listed in the points, right? All right, fine. If they've been having 15, a week, whatever, but there's still 22 total. The modifieds have 31 people on there. The late models have a total of 10 people in the points.
What is the points, Josh? Let's do them real quick.
Oh, wow. They didn't even give us math on this one. It's 210 points for Howie Conk Jr. Tillett is in second with 192. Then Greg Gastelum with 182. Andy Gamble is in fourth with 170. And Ray Maneri is your number 5 with 132 points.
I'm just going to go with Howie. I mean, he's got an 18-point lead. There's not enough cars. He's been stout. That thing's fast. Howie's a good driver. I just don't see him, Mike, being able to make any points up on him this week.
Yeah, mathematically, it doesn't look like it's possible.
Howie too, Tim?
They only have 4 races?
I know. Yeah. Well, one got rained out. That division's done. It sucks. With that division of Wall, I like having them because it does bring different type of cars from different tracks. I would pay attention to Riverhead's schedule, maybe Evergreen's schedule, and then try to have them at least. When you only give them 4 or 5 races, people lose interest. If you gave them like 8 races, that'd be a nice little series for somebody. All right, I'll get a late model. I'll do 8 races this summer.
Yeah.
4 is not enough to keep them interested, and I would work around Riverhead's schedule because they don't run the late models out there every week. This way, if you do it on a week where the late models are off at Riverhead, you might get some of the Riverhead late models to come down and race with us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take Mike Tillett. I don't want to take the winner and the leader in every division.
All right, the Rooster. Tim going for the Rooster.
And performance wise, you got to say Howie Conk. But determination wise, you got to say
I'm going to go with Tillett on that.
Because
it'll be a total different victory lane. Whoever wins that championship, because Howie's the most quietest guy in the pits, and Mike Tillett has the most energy in the pits. So if Mike Tillett wins the championship, he's going to be going crazy. If Howie wins it, he's just going to get out and say thank you.
Okay, so let's see. Sorry, I just want to add this in for Scott. Okay, cool.
That's if even the late models are racing this week. I'd imagine they would be, right?
I'm not sure. I'll have to. I'm on a different page right now. All right, so fast fours. All right.
Ooh. I think Alonso Morales has got that locked up.
It's looking that way. So the top 5 in points are Alonso Morales, Mike Lavery, Ryan Marr, Nicole Rosano, Cody Critelli, and that's it. That's 5. I'm so used to reading more. Mike Lavery's there in second with he's down by 79 points.
Yeah,
he got DQ'd that 1 week, so he lost all his points.
Yeah, so that's pretty locked up for Alonso.
I mean, second place might change or whatever, but I don't.
I tell you what, that was cool. 4th place is Nicole. Nicole's in 4th place in points. That's a great deal for her.
And our sticker's on Cody Critelli's car, and he's in fifth in points. So
he'll be lucky if he stays there with that sticker on his car.
Yeah. Sorry, Cody.
We got to get more stickers made up, Josh. Do you still have any more or no?
No, I think I gave you the last. I'll see if Lisa can make up a few more. All right, so I think
we all agree Alonso's got that one wrapped up.
Oops. 4s. Alonso. Fernando. Okay. Legends. Ooh, this is a good one. Well, it's a good battle for the top spot. How about that? So I'm going to go right here with the top 5 for the Legends are Quinn Trimmer, Mason McGee, Matt Verlangeri, Phil Bogdan, and Leanne Sherry. I mean, great season for all of them. But Mason McGee is only 2 points out of the lead.
I was going to pick.
Tim, were the Legends there last week, or were they off?
I thought they were
I don't
off.
remember. I don't remember seeing them.
Because we didn't do the Legend cars, so maybe they were off.
I believe they were off.
I wonder if Mason McGee got his car back together or got a ride or something.
I would assume he would have put something together. I mean, when you're 2 points out, you got to find a way, right?
Wow, that's a close one.
He just needed a decent finish. And Quinn is a force to be reckoned with, though, this year.
Yeah,
so.
He's been having a great year. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I
like Quinn Trimmer. I like his father. Quinn wants to come on the show. Tell you what, Quinn, you win the championship, you're on the next show. I'm going with Quinn Trimmer.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Mason. Just I think after that wreck and everything, you put it all together, you're gonna drive your heart out if you get a ride. And then honestly, it's like 130 points or 131 points from second to third. So,
which is Matt Verlangeri, which has a great story behind it. He won that car over the winter. He's third in points, and he won that car. He won that. Paid $25 for that car. He won it in a raffle.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mason McGee because I think
I think he's as long as he gets a ride.
I'm watching the Legend cars. Mason McGee is more of an aggressive driver than Quinn Trimmer, but sometimes that hurts you in points. Sometimes the way Quinn drives, he's a little more conservative. That's how you win championships. So that's going to be an interesting race,
Yeah.
So basically, whoever finishes in front of the other guy wins the championship. It's that simple,
Oh yeah.
All right, that's going to be a good one to watch. I'm going with Quinn, and you guys are going with Mason.
Yeah,
Quinn, if you win the championship, you're on the next podcast. If you don't win the championship, you got to wait another year.
Yeah. Yeah, all or nothing, baby. All right, so let's go to the Fattery stocks. This is shaping up halfway decent.
Yeah, Elliott lost some points. I think he's only got a 1 or 2 point lead now.
All right, so I'll just read the numbers. Right, so let's see. We got Elliott Wall, Brian O'Shea, Scott Riggleman, John Carpenter, and Nick Catone. Nick is out. Well, I mean, he damaged his car pretty bad, you said, and then he's down 167 points anyway. John Carpenter's down by 162, but Scott, you're only out by 34 points, and O'Shea's only out by 1 point right now.
I have an outside shot. But of course it comes to car count, and they would have to have problems early in the race and fall back, and I would have to win. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Yeah. It's weird. I think O'Shea will have a good finish. Like when his car's on, it's on, and he's good. But then he gets some weird crap luck. Whereas I think Elliott's probably going to get it.
Elliott struggled last week, though. Elliott had some mechanical woes himself.
It's not guaranteed. That's why this is the greatest type of gambling ever, because nothing is guaranteed. Scott, it really depends on what kind of night you end up having. I mean, if you get in a good spot and you can get right up there and ride second or in the lead or whatever, then you got a shot. But
I'm not out of it by any means. It's a long shot, but I have a shot.
Yeah. I mean, I just.
So you say there's a chance.
Yeah. That's my motto. I think Elliott's gonna get it though.
I'm going with Brian O'Shea.
Okay. Tim?
But you know what? I'm going with myself. I'm going with Scott Riggleman. I can't bet against myself. Or is that illegal?
No. That's fine, Scott.
You vote for yourself.
Well, Pete Rose, that's the thing with Pete Rose. That's what he's so mad at. He wasn't throwing games and saying we're going to lose. He bet it on the Reds, like to win.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they said it was like an inside trader thing. But he's like, no, if I was betting us to lose and I could – go out and strike out on purpose.
Throw the game.
There's a different. Yeah.
All right. I want to win the championship because that would be my 4th championship. So I'm betting on myself. But if I can't win the championship, I kind of rather see Brian win than Elliott because that would be Elliott's 3rd championship, and me and him would both have 3 championships. And I can't, if he doesn't win it, then I could be like, dude, you only got 2 championships. What are you talking about? I got 3. But then if I win it, I got 4. Brian's got none. And
I'd like to see Brian win it just to have another
I tell you what,
champion.
his family deserves it. They really deserve it. Tim's worked very hard in the factory stock division. He's one of the original guys in the division.
Yep.
Brian's coming along. He's picked up where Tim left off. It'd be a well-deserved championship, that's for sure. And you can say that about anybody in our division. Everybody works very hard, stuff like that. It's going to be interesting. Basically, that race there, whoever finishes ahead of who, or if they have problems, then I got to finish up front. I got to finish 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Which is possible. I'm coming off a win in a 2nd, so.
All right, Tim, who'd you pick?
First I want to say, give the 98, the kickboxing guy, what's his name? Nick Catone?
Yeah.
Nick.
5th in points. He's like really his first full year of racing.
I feel bad for Tom Rajowski. Tom Rajowski's been like 5th all year, and he had a rough week last week. I think he finished like last in both races or something like that. So he dropped in points quite a bit.
Yeah. So you got to give Nick a shout out for that. As far as the it's like Scott says every week, which car gets out front first? Who breaks through the traffic first? If it came down to where they're all running in traffic, I'm going to go with Elliott because Elliott's a much more aggressive driver. Gets away with a lot more. He makes some moves that he probably should have wrecked himself, and he gets out of it clean.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say
it luck running out. That's the thing because he had problems last week trying to do those crazy moves, and his luck ran out a little bit.
It's hard to say, but I'm gonna go with Elliott. So.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for having faith in me. I appreciate it.
No, Scott. This is taking bets, not who we're rooting for.
We're ahead and not our heart. Is that where?
Yeah. Exactly. My bet is that Elliott's going to win it. I'm hoping he crashes and burns so that you can get up there.
You know what's weird though? I'm 34 points behind, which I really think you got to be within 25 points to have a legitimate shot going into a double points night. One, the car counts are this low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
25 is my number. Anything over 25, you're, and then really 30 is the cutoff point, and I'm 34, so it's a weird spot I'm in.
I'm gonna go and say you're gonna have 5 more cars than you normally do. I think it looks like Tim O'Shea's bringing out a 3rd car from what I saw on Facebook. Then you got people that, like the Collins girl.
It's the last race of the year. Let me get my last race before I put the car away for the winter or the Turkey Derby or something.
I think there'll be 5 more than normally. If you're talking, you need 10 more cars to.
Well, no, we had 21. We started the week last week with 21. I mean, if we get 21 again, then I still have a shot. They got to be careful their first few laps. We'll see. I'm not out of it, but I'm almost out of it. But the good point on me, I can race aggressive. I have nothing to lose. Because how many points are between me and 4th?
30.
A lot, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking 2nd. You got 34, then 162. I think you're okay.
So I'm locked in the 3rd. So I can be the aggressor. I have nothing to lose.
You can rough the 2 of them up all you want.
Well, I'm not saying that. Tim says whoever gets out front first, I can kind of.
Yeah, you can push for that. Yeah.
Front. Yeah. So I'm in a good shape. I'm in good shape. They have the pressure on them. I don't. They have everything to lose. I have everything to gain.
One thing I want to say was good to see Ronnie Mullen back in the factory stock.
Oh yeah,
Saturday. Yeah, he was in
I think that's a car Rich Monjo built. And
it was.
A new guy's buying it, and he ran the first race, and I guess Ronnie jumped in the second one to see what the car would do. And Ronnie did good, and he was doing 16 threes, which was good for the second race. We all slowed down. I mean, I did a 15.977 or something like that first race, and then I did the 16.2 in the second one, because the only one that did a 15 in the second race was Brian, and he was coming up through the pack, so I think he had some clear track for a while.
Okay.
And the rest of it, just like I said, we were stuck in that line, and we just rode around in that line, you know. All right, guys. So that's all the picks then.
Yeah, that'll cover it.
All right. So I gotta get going here, Josh.
I understand.
Quick, what have we learned? Are we skipping it? What do you want to do?
I don't really have anything this week.
Tim, you said the food at the concessionaire was a volcano burger?
Yeah, the specials were. I guess it's the end of the year, so they're running out of ideas. So, it was kibasi and sauerkraut, with pierogies, or a kibasi sauerkraut sandwich, and a volcano burger, which Alexis, my daughter, explained to me was a cheeseburger with like a, how like when you go to the hibachi place and they stack the onion rings up and it blows smoke out of the top of it.
Yeah.
It was basically that idea, but instead of having smoke in it, it had like cheese whiz in it. So when you bit into it, it would explode out the top of the ass. So
it's messy, but I kind of like it.
It probably sounds good. Yeah. Like I said, the concession stand, you were waiting for an hour for something to eat. So the girls always, every week I say it, they got their chicken fingers and French fries, and that was the specials, and that's what we got. So
that's pretty cool.
All right, Josh, what have you learned? I didn't learn nothing.
No, I was slacking today. I didn't really learn anything, but off the air, I learned that Bob Menchener actually lived really close to me.
Yeah, he's actually your neighbor. You didn't even know it.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. So with that, it's going to be an exciting next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. So we do have the championship night coming up this Saturday, and then racing's not over after this weekend. The points are over, but then the following week we're having the Cliff Krause Memorial Race, which is not going to be a points race now because now the points are done. We still have a race after this week to the following week. So
yeah.
And
the points the Factory Stocks Points Championship. I mean, we have a lot of points races, but it got a little weird. It's kind of a weird deal this year because we had like 3 races in the middle of the year where we just got show-up points. Everybody got 30 points for racing because we had the tire shortage, right? So that takes away a couple races. I think it was 2 or 3 races it takes away there. And then the Cliff Krause race got rained out, and she couldn't find a good date for it. So she made it after championship nights. And now we have a non-points race after the championship's locked up because she still wanted to end the points.
It's kind of fun. I mean, it's a good time to try new stuff before.
But I'm just saying, if Elliott loses the championship by 5 points, he's going to be sitting there figuring out those non-point races and the Cliff Krause point. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are going to be like, well, if they were points races, I should have won by 20 something. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, wow,
that can go either way. You could lose it too. So
we're all playing in the same sandbox.
Yeah, and you know what? You're exactly right, Josh. I explained this too when they went to the Chase format, and every year they change the point system for the NASCAR Cup Series. I heard Richard Petty in an interview, and I said this on the podcast a while back. He said he won 7 championships under 5 different point systems.
Yeah.
It's a moving target, And
exactly.
You're right. You're all playing the same game. So in the end, you're still the true champion because the races that were points races, you did better,
Yeah.
And who really cares? Points are for basketball. You go to the races to win, right, Josh? We're not playing basketball, so why?
I go right now. I go to the track to watch a show. I want to. That's what I want. I want a good race with a lot of action and all that. And then honestly, the same when I'm in the car.
And like David Pearson always said, he's like, I race for the money because points don't buy food and trophies taste like shit.
Yeah.
And if you bothered to watch the Darrell Waltrip video where they clean out his hauler, I shared on the RPM podcast page, trophies don't mean shit because they're old. It was from 1967 to 1985. Trophies were all packed in this trailer, so they don't mean anything.
Which is a shame. Like they could have went to a museum somewhere or auction them off for a charity or give them to your fan club or something.
I was telling Scott, they had the Bush Pole Awards in there from I think it was 1985 or 81. Darrell Waltrip won 11 of them.
And all 11 plaques were in there.
There was all 11 plaques were in. Yeah, they never made out of the hole.
If you know you're not going to do nothing with them, then as you're walking back to your trailer, you hand them to a fan or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like I like my trophies. I got a cool shelf going around the whole perimeter of my shop, and I put them up there, and it's cool when my neighbors come in and they see all my trophies. I do. I enjoy my trophies. I like the trophies. Some people don't care about them, and rather than letting them rot in your house or throwing them away, give them to a kid in the grandstands or something like that.
Yeah. What was it like Tom Mentz used to do? Give away the helmet after every monster truck.
Oh
show.
yeah, the great digger guy. I know the Max D, right? Maximum Destruction.
Yep.
Yeah. That can get expensive. Those helmets are expensive.
Does he get paid enough to do that? Man.
All right, guys. This wraps up episode 19.
We're going to do the Sunday series real quick. Sunday series was off.
Go ahead, Tim.
Sunday series was off Sunday. This Sunday. The week before when Uncle Scott was away, Bailey won. So I had to make sure I mentioned that, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So her sister won the week before Alexis, and then Bailey got her win.
Yes.
Oh, the microstocks went
No,
out.
then I'm sorry. Alexis won, Bailey won, and then Alexis won again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's how it went, yeah.
And
everything's a blur.
The microstocks went out to Mahoning.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's a perfect track for those guys. That's pretty cool.
So just to wrap them up, the winner was Tom Irvin. Then you had Josh Berry, Jim Van Dyne, Mike Brennan, Jim Howell, the fourth, Scott Fox, Richie Tzinski, and Jay Smith.
Cool.
They'll be back at Wall on Sunday, the 3rd.
All right, guys, that wraps up episode 197 of the RPM podcast, and we'll see you at championship night at Wall Saturday.
Go to Wall.
Wash your hands.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.